Okay, so you've created your recorder, you've got responses. Now what? You can see all the responses here, all of that data is nicely organized. And one of the layers that we've recently added is the statistics layer. So immediately you can see how many people have submitted, their average recording duration, the type of way that they had actually uploaded data. You can ask for audio, you can ask for video, you can get screen shares, and even let people upload files themselves. And then here, what you have is a bit of a breakdown of the people who had submitted. And so you've got submissions by date. And what's nice about this is I can toggle between different displays of those charts. You also have total submissions by day. Same thing here. You've got a nice little bar chart. Looks like pretty even distribution. In this case, on the pie table there, you can see the bar chart now, and a little bit more on Wednesday, it becomes clear. And then also a nice table view. Now we move on to a little bit more locational data. So we've got by city. So I've got Mumbai, Hyderabad, Dhaka, Brompton, Mississauga being the top ones there. And then same thing with the countries. Immediately, you can see India has been a big driver of those submissions. I can drop that into table and then I can confirm it. Now move on to device types, and you can see submissions by device. In this case, desktop was the primary one. And again, drop, switch very easily and toggle between those, tablets being very limited. And then lastly, what browser were they actually using? And you can see that Chrome, the biggest driver. There is some question analytics, but I'm going to dive into some results that you can get that are much more advanced than that. And if you have other questions or other stats that you want to see, feel encouraged to send us a message. We're always customizing this and have some great options when working with clients. So now what I want to do is move into the folder where that data had actually been populated. So I had linked that recorder to this folder, to the data set, to the project. And now we can start to see all the submissions in here. So immediately you can see the names, you can see the tags of what recorders. There's sentiment analysis of the submission. So that's specifically looking at the audio and video response, that's unstructured data, and how can we turn it into structured information. And to see a quick view, you've got the transcript here. There are keywords that automatically emerge, and this starts to populate and create visualizations, both on an individual level, where we can see this here, and also what is much more interesting at the higher level of that folder. So now instead of looking at just an individual file, we're starting to look at keywords that are emerging across the entire data set. What is great is I can customize this. So I can say, hey, I only want to see the top 25. And then I can download these as PNG images very easily, or I can also export them as CSVs. We're also seeing similar options on the sentiment analysis, where you can start to see how was sentiment trending over time on those submissions. This is sentence by sentence breakdown, are positive versus negative, and a great little visualization. All of this is also downloadable. And then lastly, we do have this option called fields. And what we'll see on fields is a really interesting component here, because you can see in the question, we asked, hey, what country are you coming from? What language do you speak? And we've also done some analysis using the AI to find themes in the data on those submissions. And we've recorded more in-depth videos on that process to extract that all out. But if you have questions on the recorder, all of this will be nicely organized. I do want to share one quick thing. I can go here and I can hit export. And a really great export is the actual media details. And I can see all the data really nicely organized in a CSV with the actual transcription itself. You've got the language, the country, you've got the name. If there's an email alongside it, all of that is actually in the data. But Speak has great analysis directly in the system itself, and just wanted to show you what that looks like. I'm now in that respondent data folder, so I'm looking at that in the more advanced Explore Insights. Same visualization you were seeing before, but what I wanted to tap onto was this fields idea. So we know that we've created a couple fields, and we do talk about this in other videos, but basically any quality that you want to capture in the recorder or extract from the responses itself, you can then create into a field. In this case, we have country, and we were looking to see, hey, what countries were people submitting from? And United States, #1 with 8 times, and you can even see the percentage density in that data set. I can now go forward and do the same thing for language, and you can see that breakdown. So any fields that you've populated are now immediately visualizable. And you can also download this as a PNG or as CSV. But lastly, we have this idea of the exploratory classification. And there's a lot going on here. We can see, hey, there's a ton of different themes that we extracted, and we said, hey, let's get these back in a comma separated list. And it looks a little bulky here right now, but all I have to do, because I chose that comma separated list, I can hit comma and I can now visualize that information in the data set itself. And because this was some really randomized recorder submissions where we just said, hey, record anything that you want, we had very unique themes. And so you're not seeing any repetition in those themes. And this is that idea of the more exploratory classification. However, what you can do is move from exploratory classification to actually standardizing themes and having parent themes that come out of that initial exploration. And what does that mean? Now, when I go to Explore Insights, I can go back to the fields. I can see those standardized themes, starting to see some density here, but I can also separate. And now we can see that visualization and data structured really nicely where we now know the main themes. And again, all downloadable, save as a nice PNG, save as a CSV. So that's just some of the analysis that Speak does. Automatically creates those visualizations for you. We really care about data integrity and allowing you to download that data, be able to toggle between different images. So I hope that's a great overview of some of the visualization and analysis possible in Speak. Thanks so much for checking this out. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.